How's it, guys? Welcome to another episode on the reality shift. Today I'm interviewing Siphosami Ndala, phenomenal, wondrous human being, and I'm so grateful to have her on the show. She is a health professional. She is also the founder of Ubomibami organization, and it's I hope that you guys can learn, engage, interact, and just feel inspired um, by this heart-to-heart and authentic, open, transparent conversation that we are about to have. Super-san, thank you for coming onto the show. I'm so glad to have you here finally after how long?
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. So, as I said, before the video, I would just like to start, by for you to just introduce yourself, just talk to the people talk to me just about your heritage, where you come from, your upbringing, and yeah, just expand upon that. Yeah.
Okay, again, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's an honor.
Yeah.
And Siphosami, wow, where do I start? Above and beyond everything else, Siphosami is a happily divorced mom. I'm a mother of two kids, amazing, beautiful kids. They are my life. And I think for me, that has been an amazing journey of motherhood.
Yeah.
And having experienced that, I'd say it has changed me. It has made me a better person, more patient, more loving. And I'm just thankful for that role in my life. And secondly, I'd say Siphosami is a very spiritual woman. That has given me a lot of identity as to who I am, and the path that I want to follow in life is very much grounded in my faith, and the type of circles that I keep also have been impacted by the fact that I am a faith woman. And also, I mean, Siphosami is a born and bred Durbanite.
100%.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Many years ago, this woman was born in Durban. My parents were both teachers, but for some strange reason, I've never had an inclination towards teaching. But I think maybe that's because I had a destiny to follow, and that's what I've done. And for me, yes, it leaned more towards health, but my passion is much bigger than that. I started Ubomibami Foundation, as you mentioned, in 2014. That's where my biggest passion is. Initially, it was just an idea or a passion extraction of, I want to do something for my community. I want to be something for my community. And we wanted to do women empowerment like everybody else. Most of the women have that passion towards, can we empower ourselves?
Yeah.
But beyond that, I had this feeling that no, there's more to what I want to empower or impart in my community than just women. I have a passion for children. I have a passion for the elderly. I have a passion for young men. I have a passion for youth. And so all of these things, they translated in me saying, I want Ubomibami to focus on community development rather than a certain group in the community. So anywhere that a community is in need, that's where I am. There is no specific facet of the needs that any community may have that I can reach out to them. So Siphosami is that, and career-wise, I am in the health industry, as you mentioned as well. I've been in the health industry for over 15 years now.
Jesus.
Yes, I'm old, very old.
You don't look old. Yeah, you look very well kept. Yeah.
Thank you. It's been a great journey in that part, and with the current situation that we are in as well, it's been an untreaded territory for us as healthcare professionals as well. But I think we're learning a lot. It is scary. It's a scary reality, I must say. But at the end of the day, we have pledged our lives to do this. So that's what I'm busy doing.
And so let's just start off with, coming into the health space, because I feel like that was the beginning of your journey.
Yeah.
How did you come into becoming a health professional, and what was the inspiration? What drove you, and what is it like existing in that space?
I'd say it wasn't something that I always dreamed I'll go into, except for the fact that after I completed my matric, I wanted to become a psychologist. So I actually went to KZN to study that for a year, and then due to some personal circumstances I couldn't continue. And then there was an opportunity that came up for nursing at McCourt's. So it was like, okay, maybe I should try that. I mean, I am from a family of nurses. My 2 aunts were nurses. My cousin is a nurse. So it was not a type of profession that I would not consider. So I went into it due to circumstances, but as I went into it, I experienced it, I loved it, I fell in love with the profession, I fell in love with the idea of helping people, of being there for people when they need you the most. And I think that was something I was not aware of until I went into it. And fast forward, then I started working as a nurse. I worked in both private and public hospitals. And then after that, I went into healthcare management. I'm no longer in nursing for other reasons of growth and finding yourself and growing into different spaces. So I am in health information management currently. I work for a private company full time, even though I do Ubomibami part-time. But I think it has been an amazing journey. I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot as a person and as an employee, and now I'm an employer. I mean, so we grow, we learn, and we realize a lot of things. And people are sick out there. Help is needed. Services are needed. There is so much to do, even in the space of changing the service structure of our health system, particularly public, in the public sector.
And we've been exposed to the current pandemic,
Yes, that
really
has.
exposed. Could you talk to us a bit about that and the implications of COVID-19 and the lockdown?
Well, it's I mean, for me personally, I can say it has changed my work setting. I've never had to work from home before, and the experience has been good and bad, I'll say, because like I said, I'm a single mother, and being at home with your children, there's a lot of expectations that comes with that. And at the same time, you also have a contract with your company that you need to fulfill. So it's a matter of multitasking, time management, and all of that. But at the end of the day, our company has done it for our safety, that we can work from home and not have the constant daily exposure to what is currently happening. And above and beyond that, it is a very, not just, I won't say just scary, but it is a bit of a challenging time for us in terms of going to work as a healthcare professional, not knowing what you're going to bring back home to your family. So and I have to applaud our healthcare workers, our doctors, our nurses, our dietitians, everybody that has to be in that setting to give a service to people that need it at the expense of their own lives. I mean, that's commendable. So we do appreciate our healthcare workers, and we do pray for them that they continue to be safe, and we can't wait for this to be over. I mean, the reality is life has changed as we know it for everybody, not just us as people that work in a hospital setting, but people have lost their jobs. People have lost a lot. I mean, their own businesses have had to close, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the reality that this pandemic has brought in our lives. It's uncertain, it's scary, it's unpredictable. And we just want to, ease down to how as normal as we can get to, post this. Yeah.
So let's touch a bit on Ubomibami and talk to us about I didn't pronounce it right.
Ubomibami, no, you
Ubomibami.
did. It's just that it
just
brings
like-
a smile on my face every time I hear the name. Yes, I'm in love with the Ubomibami Foundation.
So, as a founder, when you talk about your community work within the space and how, because you're somewhat seasoned, because you've had this organization running for some time, so you have experience in community development. So I'd like to know the process and what is it like, and what is it exactly that you do.
Okay, we started Ubomibami Foundation in 2014. It was definitely out of a passion for me to do something in my community, and not just my community, because at that time I was still at home in Zuzuma, but my vision was way beyond just my community. I wanted to touch lives in the whole of Durban, in the whole of KZN, beyond the province, and as far as Africa, if possible. And that's the long-term vision of Ubomibami Foundation. And when I explained that we do community development, we touch on each different group in the community, because we want a holistic approach to communities. We don't want to empower women and then the men are left disempowered.
And needs a hell of a lot of work, especially at this particular point in time.
That's very true. And that's what we've been doing in the past decade. We've been focusing on women becoming empowered, that we've neglected the men. And now they're trying to struggle out of this pit, that women are so strong now and they're feeling weak. But we have to reach some equilibrium of empowerment. We cannot make the woman become so empowered that she feels like she overpowers them, because then we're just toppling the problem. We're not fixing it, we're just toppling it from the men having been in power for so long, and women have felt, we need to rise up. Now we're going to have women empowered and men are like, we need to rise up. So we're back to the same, the same dilemma that we were in initially. So we at Ubomibami, we want to focus on the women, we want to focus on the men, we want to focus on the elderly, and I don't even want to go on to that one, because that's one of our vulnerable people that have been neglected for so long.
Jeez,
And I mean, having worked in a hospital setting, there's so much that I had to learn and to come to terms with when it comes to our elderly, especially in the Black community, because we've seen how they've had to become parents in their old age. We see a lot of young people that are going out and having irresponsible sexual intercourse, coming back with unwanted pregnancies and dumping their babies with the grannies. I mean, the gogos and the mkulus are now raising our kids, and we are nowhere to be found. And that's a reality that nobody's talking about. I mean, it's happening. Elderly people are looking after their grandkids. Where are the mothers? Where are the fathers? And the sad thing is, some of these kids that are being abandoned are not healthy kids. They are sick kids that need to go to hospitals often. But who must take them? It's the elderly, and it's not fair on them. It's a sad reality, and we want to address that. We want to say they are there. Our elderly are there. They should be enjoying their retirement.
So how are you, facilitating that? How are you finding a way to help the elderly and make a change in that particular part of the community. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, because our organization started in 2014, we have a department called Social Welfare Department that focuses on the social issues that our communities are facing right now, or even projectively what they're going to face. And we've started with women, and we've started with young girls, and we've started with children. And the elderly, we have a vision for what to do with them, but we haven't really gotten there because you won't believe this, but Ubomibami Foundation has self-funded itself from conception up until now. There is no project that we've done that has been funded by a company, or it's been the directors of the company that have said we have a passion for this, and we're not going to wait until somebody sees our value. We see it. We want to do something about it.
And have you thought about getting external funding?
Oh yes, a number of times. But what, as the founder, what my drive has been from the start is, guys, if we can't maintain our own thing, how will we expect somebody else to maintain it? Now, the mindset behind that is, should a funder withdraw their funding, will we continue or will we fall? Are we that dependent on somebody supporting us that if they don't, then we can't survive? And all these years we've been saying we want to do it ourselves. We want to go to somebody and say, we have been doing it, and we're just asking you to supplement and help us to grow beyond what we are capable of doing. But we're not saying we can't do it without you. We can do it, but you are here to help us.
And also gives you leverage as well.
Yes,
and
definitely.
the negotiation power and whatnot. So
So that's what Ubomibami is about. In a nutshell, we have done projects. I don't like to call them projects. I prefer calling them programs and initiatives and campaigns, because projects, there's a starting and an end time. So we prefer to do something that's long-term, that's sustainable, and we know we're just moving with this. There's no point where we're going to say, okay, we've done enough for women now, we're no longer going to do anything for them. So our programs have been focusing on women empowerment. We have done programs on young girls, where we empower them, we speak to them, and we guide them. We also included a lot of gender-based violence to educate them around that. Sometimes a lot of young girls think if your boyfriend or your partner hits you, it means they love you. And that's the mindset that we wanted to change and shift it around to say, no, that's not love. We need to have a better understanding of what love is. And we need to have a better love for ourselves as women, to say, this is not for me. And I'm not going to stay just because I need it. But I can provide it for myself, So
sorry about this. My nose is just dripping because of the sun.
No,
I have like
fine.
sinuses. So I'm using this to this. I've got my nose. Jeez. But can you expand a bit on that in terms of love? Because I feel like that's one of the things that I wanted to ask you. Because I could see, all over your socials, you're talking about love, and I'm also a person who's grounded in love. And what does love mean to you, and how are you going about spreading love and giving out love within your capacity?
Okay, I'm gonna say, I call myself a love ambassador.
Okay, I'm gonna coin that term. What is it?
I'm a love ambassador.
Ambassador.
Yeah.
Oh,
so, and I guess it's because I feel all my life, and I won't lie about this, all my life it's been about love. I mean, I'm a ball of love. I believe in love. My foundation is love. My faith draws me to love, because God is love, and so the essence of who I am is love. And that's on a very broad spectrum, because even for me to get into Ubomibami is because I have love for people. I'm a people's person. I love people. I love all kinds of people. But above that, I believe in love. I believe in marriage. Even though I am happily divorced. And I have to say that because, know, a lot of people think your happiness is very much linked to somebody else. You know, and once that somebody else is not in your life, then you can't be happy.
Yeah.
But that's another thing when I'm talking about teaching young people about loving themselves, that it has to start with you. We grew up in our black communities as women. We grew up being told that, you know, your growth uh, levels are to get married, find a husband, get married, have children, and you know. But the status quo has changed a lot now. I mean, women are independent, and we're no longer getting married to find somebody that's going to look after us until we're old and you know. But now we're looking to be with somebody because we love them and we want to be with them. And so for that, for me, up until now, it's been about, despite my circumstances of a failed marriage, I don't believe that means I must stop believing in love. I still believe in love. I still believe in marriage and the sanctity of it. I still support and pray for people in marriage. And I think love is a beautiful thing. It's healing. It's life-giving. It's, if you've never been in love, you won't understand why somebody would talk about love so much and yet they are divorced. Because love is beautiful. Yes, people can disappoint us. People can give us a heartache, all the negative, but also the positive of it. I mean, it gives you a purpose. You wake up in the morning, you know, people that are in love are always in a good mood. They play good music. It serves your soul. And I mean, why would anybody not love? You know? So that's what I'm about in terms of love. And I talk to people about love. I share on my media platforms about love.
Not about love.
A lot about love.
Yeah.
And I want people to not stop believing in love. I mean, besides us wanting to find the perfect person one day, I mean, you know, we talk about Mr. Right and Mrs. Right and whatever, but you have to be whole as a person yourself. You have to love yourself first. You cannot expect somebody to love what you don't love, you know. And above that also, you know, when we talk about your bank balance, you deposit into your bank. I mean, if I go to work and I put in my time, that's an investment on its own. And when my employer pays me month end, it's not he just feels like blessing me with money. No, I've invested my time and my energy and my intellect into that. So the same thing about love. Love yourself. Take care of yourself. You know, appreciate yourself, and spend time with yourself. You know, sometimes we are so lonely because we don't enjoy our own time with ourselves. So yeah.
Enjoying our own time, our own company, you know, being with those that we love, you know, and you know, creating new memories, etc., etc. So yeah, that's been a very, you know, unraveling topic. Now that's something I really wanted to get to. I think also I wanted to touch on wellness and holistically wellness, because you are somewhat an epitome of wellness, and you seem to be holistically mind, body, and spiritually grounded. And would you talk about a bit about your journey and your process in your self-love and allowing yourself to love yourself, to give yourself the best, and to take care of yourself?
You know, out of our greatest trials comes our greatest blessings, our greatest passions, and our greatest purpose. And I think for me, that's where my love for love and love for me, love for people actually comes from. I've went through a lot in life, and as you know that I'm divorced. That is just recently, but I went through a really big life-changing experience in 2012. It was the first time ever that I felt like I couldn't handle my emotions. My mental capacity was drowning. I actually felt suicidal. A lot of people will look at you down the line and think, wow, this person has it all, covered and sorted out, and but they don't know your journey, because you become the person that you become because of your experiences. And my experiences, not all of them have been great. I mean, my childhood mostly was great, even though towards as I grew up and left home, things started getting very tense at home with my dad and whatever. And that's a story for another day. But then the next greatest thing that happened to me of pain in life was when I got separated from my husband in 2012. And I was sad, I was shattered. And now I'm preaching that you love yourself, because I've experienced how it feels like to lose somebody and feel as if that person is all that you need to survive. But then life teaches you otherwise, and you realize, no, actually life can go on. And I want to say this, in the midst of your trials, there is nothing that beats having a support structure. And I have to say that again.
Yeah, please
There
repeat
is
that. I think
nothing.
people really need to hear.
Yes, there is nothing that beats the support structure when you are going through anything. Anything, especially something bad. I mean, something good, we can handle it on our own, but we want to share as well. So the support structure is also needed. But I want to say, when you're going through tough times, the support structure, your family, your friends, the people that love you, sometimes it's your church that gives you the strength to go on. It's different avenues for different people. And I think for me, God raised up women and that I didn't know, that I had to meet in my midst of drowning, and they taught me things that I never knew before. They challenged my thinking. And when we talk about a mindset shift, when we talk about a mindset shift, that's what I had to go through, to say everything that I've learned in the 30 years of my life, I need to relearn that. And then that is going to empower me to survive from here onwards. And that's been the case in my life. It's been tough to change everything that you thought you knew, and then you start having to suss out different paradigms, different understandings of things, different theses of what is life about, And so that came out of me as a person, and they prayed for me. I learned to pray in a different way. I learned to believe in a different way. I learned to love in a different way as well. And that's in that process, I think 2 years from there, then Ubomibami came up.
You see? Yeah.
And I was like, wow, God, beautiful things come out of the worst cases. And I appreciated that. And if I had to go back and change anything, I would not change anything. Because who I am today, I'm proud of the woman that I am today. I'm proud of the things that I've accomplished today. I have not even scraped the surface of what I want to do. And a lot of people think I've accomplished a lot, but trust me, I haven't. I mean, the fact that I believe I'm a love ambassador, I'd also love to have my own love show where we talk about love, heartache, divorce, and the stigma that it carries, being a single parent. All of those things, they involve love, loving your children, loving your parents. How do you take care of your parents? Do you just shut them out because you are successful now? So it's a lot of things that I feel I've evolved into, as well as evolved out of as an individual.
You seem like a very holistic being. And one thing that I absolutely love about these interviews is that every single time I have someone on the show, I'm able to learn so much, because now it's not so much about talking, it's about listening. And when you're listening, there's so much, that you can just absorb, and just to absorb and to take in, and marinate in that experience of another being, and it gives you the complete picture. And I think what I really wanted to talk about as well was, somewhat to close off, is what does Women's Month mean to you? What does it mean to you? And if you can expand on that.
Do I just go on and go on and go on? Because I can. When it comes to women, wow.
Whatever, just whatever comes, just let it flow. This is what we're here for.
Women's Month for me is a celebration. Number one, it's a celebration of what women have become in our society, and opposed to what they were. And for a long time, women were not recognized, and the strength of a woman was not recognized. And right now we recognize it. We even call women imbogodo. That's a rock. You get what I'm saying? And becoming a woman in the 21st century, of knowing what we're capable of, and the power that we hold of influence, of persuasion in higher places. I mean, women are in parliament making decisions. Women are CEOs of companies and running businesses and bringing income. Women are running homes, single-handedly doing that, without men helping us. It's a celebration of what we have accomplished. It's a celebration of being feminine and yet being strong. Very often we think to be strong, you need to lose that woman. Yes,
naturally.
And we shouldn't. We should embrace ourselves. Be feminine. Wear your high heels and wear your makeup. Be beautiful. But get in that boardroom and make decisions. Be assertive and know who you are. And show your intellect. You are intelligent. Share ideas with your counterparts, your associates, or whoever. And we want to build. That's one thing about women. Women are builders. Set up walls and the whole thing, windows and doors, and we do the interior, the whole thing. And opposed to a man, no disrespect, I mean, a man can build a house, but a home, that's a different aspect of it. And here we are saying that because women are running businesses, they are entrepreneurs, they are building the houses and building a home at the same time. But a man can build a house, and it's very difficult for a man to build a home, because it needs a woman's touch. That's our area of expertise. You get into a home and you can see if there's a woman there. But if you get into a home that's run by a man, you can see, okay, a bachelor, all right, okay, so we celebrate women and what they've done, and the things that we still want to do. I mean, we are so passionate about a lot of things. I mean, women are passionate, and it can serve us good and bad at times, because we end up grabbing everything, and because we believe we can multitask. But sometimes we need to just focus on one thing, do it and do it well, and then move on to the next. And I mean, for example, I'm an aspiring author. I mean, I started my book, but because I'm doing so many other things as well, it gets left behind, and slowly moving forward, but it's in the pipeline. And
I love that you're writing as well, because I've written about 3 books already. So we can have conversations.
Okay.
I haven't published them yet. When you've written and you're just like, okay, they're sitting there. Fictional novel, my own opus magnum, and another book on the levels of wisdom and information comprehension and application. But so you can just expand.
Okay, we'll be in touch.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, because my focus and my passion when it comes to writing is about success.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody wants to be successful, but we don't want to really follow the foundations and the elements and the principles that guide us towards success. I mean, people think success just comes to you, but no, it's a lot of sacrifice, it's a lot of work, a lot of time, and sometimes it's just going to change your whole life around. I mean, a lot of people are fearful of failure. I'm fearful of success. And a lot of people don't understand, but Siphosami, why would you be afraid of being successful? I mean, everybody wants to be successful. And I promise you, my fear is that I know success comes with change. And it's not because I hate change, but it's because I've seen change in people where it changes a person altogether, you know, and I love who I am, and I would not want to change who I am as a person, and I would not want success to come in and change that. But above that, I spend time with my kids. I love my kids, and success means I need to remove some time from them. I need to focus on other things and give them, you know, squeeze them in some way. I would have to travel, you know, and not be with them. And I'm scared of those things, but they are a reality of success. And I mean, there's so much I want to do, and sometimes success means you have to leave your job, and that's your comfort zone. Exactly. So success is there, but it's really for the bold and the risk takers. It's exactly like love, but you have to be in a space where you are ready for it. You have to be in a space where you are disciplined enough to say, okay, I've made my first million. I'm not going to blow it up. You know, this is an investment. This 1 million is supposed to make me 10 million. You know, it's a mindset that you need to have of success before you run into success, and then you start buying Lamborghinis and you know, so you're back to square one. So yeah, that's for me, it is really, Women's Month is about celebrating us, the success that we've accomplished, the success that we want to accomplish. We want to study, we want to do whatever. We have to believe that we can do it. We have to support each other as women, that, you know what, you want your doctorate, you're going to be a doctor one day. You can 100%. Do it, you know, do it. Focus on that and, you know, thrash it out. And I mean, it's doable. I mean, a lot of women have done it. And those women need to come out and say, I've been able to do it. And you can do it as well. Mentorship. Yes. So we need more women coming out of the shadows. Women are doing great things in the shadows, and they don't want to be seen. But we're calling out women to come out, mentor young girls and boys, because we don't want just boys to be mentored by boys only. I mean boys to be mentored by men only. But we want a vast spectrum of influence. You know, hence, if you're a child, you grow up with a mother and a father. You know, and you have those different perspectives of masculinity and femininity, and they make you whole. So we want the same for our young people, and you know, we definitely have to do it.
Yes, definitely. Wow, this has been absolutely amazing. It really has, and yeah, I feel like you're a source. You're basically a library. You know, and I'm so glad that I got you here. So now it's not about, you know, swiping your card. It's about staying and sleeping in the library. You know. So thank you so much, Siphosami, for coming onto the show, coming onto the reality shift. And lastly, could you just tell the persons out there your handles, where we can find you, where we can find your organization on socials, if they want to engage, if they want to follow you? Could you just project that to them?
Siphosami can be found on a lot of social media platforms. I'm a very open book. I am on Instagram. You'll find me on Siphosami N. That is at Siphosami N. That's Instagram. On Facebook, you'll find me as Siphosami Maishi. That's my maiden name. And then on I don't use Twitter much. I'm sorry, but I know there's a huge buzz with Twitter, but I think I'm too old school for Twitter. I've tried, and
now you and me same. We're in the same boat. I'm not there yet.
I've tried, but no, Twitter, you won't find me there. And then in terms of Ubomibami, again, we are on Facebook. You'll find us, Ubomibami Foundation, and also on Instagram at Ubomibami F. That's where you'll find us.
Okay. So yeah, that's just basically a wrap up of Siphosami and having this wonderful person and this being here on the Reality Shift. Please do like, subscribe, engage at the Reality Shift on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now TikTok. You know how it is.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much, guys. And my personal handle at Litsu, both on the same all those platforms. So yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. It's been a
coming on to the
pleasure.
show. I really appreciate it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.